Goldie Hawn, who has been with Kurt Russell for over 40 years, now reveals the reason she never married him at the age of 79. Goldie learned the hard way after 2 unsuccessful marriages that a certificate wasn't necessary for happiness, but rather independence, dignity, and trust. I don't understand why one of Hollywood's most beloved couples wouldn't want to tie the knot. In comparison to other marriages that have failed, what makes their bond so much stronger? Come explore Goldie's values, life experiences, and the touching reality of her decision to never marry Kurt Russell with us. The star's supporting actress. Many people will always remember Goldie Hawn for her iconic performances in timeless Hollywood flicks. Her infectious energy and impeccable timing brought her stardom in the 1960s, when she appeared on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, a sketch comedy program. Her subsequent film credits include the comedies Cactus Flower and Private Benjamin, as well as the dramas Overboard and The First Wives Club, demonstrating her ability to portray both comedic and dramatic roles. Not only was she stunning, but her audiences also adored her charisma and her innate talent for bringing people together through laughter and empathy. She developed into the kind of actress who could make anyone's day just by entering a room. That trait has been with her throughout her entire career. There has always been more to Goldie Hawn's life than acting, though. She has handled herself with poise, dignity, and responsibility outside of the spotlight of the film set. Her name is dedicated to her work and equally devoted to her personal life. Proud mother and grandma. She left an artistic legacy that her children, Oliver and Kate Hudson, have continued by pursuing acting. Being a mother and grandmother has been as rewarding for Goldie as any acting position, and her close relationship with her children and grandkids is evidence of how important family is to her. If you follow her journey, you will see how much she enjoys that place. Along with her loved ones, Goldie Hawn has focused a lot of her efforts on philanthropy. Mind Up was produced by the Goldie Hawn Foundation, which she started in 2003. Assisting youngsters in building resilience is the primary goal of this effort. Mental well-being, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. She has demonstrated her commitment to making a positive impact on people's lives, rather than just entertaining them, through this organization. The positive effect her work has had on local communities and schools is evidence that her influence extends well beyond the realm of television. She has emerged as an advocate for compassion, awareness, and learning, advocating for causes in which she genuinely believes by utilizing her platform. Goldie Hawn's reputation and accomplishments are what set her apart. People frequently mention her as one of the most upbeat and charismatic stars in Hollywood. Even though her profession is often somber and demanding, she has always maintained an upbeat and cheerful demeanor, which has won her many admirers. A role model for her contemporaries and the next generation, she has made laughing an integral part of who she is. What, then, in Hawn's life narrative is most interesting, besides her profession? A tale of love, marriage, and tragedy. Goldie Hawn wed actor and dancer Gus Triconis in 1969. They crossed paths when she was just starting out, right on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, when she became a household name. As a professional dancer, Gus appeared in numerous major productions, including West Side Story. They met in the entertainment industry and hit it off immediately. While Gus had already made a name for himself as a talented actor, Goldie was in her early 20s and climbing the Hollywood ladder at a rapid pace. Honolulu, Hawaii was the site of their May 16, 1969 wedding. Their youthful enthusiasm and intimacy were reflected in the modest and uncomplicated ceremony. The marriage was a watershed moment in Goldie's maturation. It brought together the prospect of a lifelong companionship with her budding professional life. There was a lot of love in their early years together, but as her star started to rise, problems started to arise. Among Hollywood's most in-demand actresses, Goldie's star rose as her career progressed. The 1969 Oscar for Best Cactus Flower. New responsibilities, travel, and stresses caused by their quick ascent put their marriage to the strain. Despite his talent, Gus did not advance in his career to the same degree, which caused friction. By the mid-1970s, the couple's relationship had grown irreparably damaged due to their gradual drifting apart. Goldie and Gus's 7-year marriage ended in a formal divorce in April 1976. Despite the relative lack of fanfare, the ending signaled the start of a fresh chapter in her life away from the limelight of Hollywood. Because of this, Goldie now views relationships differently, having learned the hard way how to balance love with the demands of fame. Goldie Hawn wed again not long after her split from Gus Triconis. Musician Bill Hudson of the Hudson Brothers was her husband from July 3, 1976. Because they were both involved in the entertainment world, their romance blossomed rapidly. Bill had a magnetic presence, and the two of them appeared to be very much in sync in their enthusiasm and drive. They had a wonderful first few years of marriage, especially when they began a family. Oliver Hudson, their first child, was born the year they tied the knot. Their daughter, Kate Hudson, who would eventually become a popular actress in Hollywood, was born to them in 1979, for years after they were married. Goldie wholeheartedly embraced motherhood, juggling her cinematic responsibilities with the responsibility of raising her children. Oliver and Kate's friendship became her life's core. One of her greatest accomplishments, even now, is being their mother. In spite of the joy of starting a family, marital problems and disagreements started to crop up. The couple had a hard time settling down because of the demands of Bill Hudson's music career. Their relationship was in a downward spiral by the early 1980s. Conflicts, pressures from work, and personal preferences all become too much to bear. Goldie and Bill's 1982 divorce came after 6 years of marriage. Goldie concentrated on keeping a close relationship with Oliver and Kate despite the painful separation, which was exacerbated by the children. Although the kids' relationship with their dad was strained over the years, they always felt loved and protected by Goldie. The reality of parenting amidst sadness marked this chapter of her life. Show her resiliency and might. By the time Goldie Hawn was in her late 30s, she had been through 2 failed marriages. Her perspective on love and devotion was profoundly shaped by these events. Traditional marriage was no longer her sole option for achieving happiness, but she was open to relationships in general. Love, for Goldie, had nothing to do with paperwork or rituals. Honesty, mutual regard, and common principles were key. Her independence was molded by the dissolution of her marriages. Having a traditional romantic partner was not necessary for her happiness, she came to learn. Rather, she embraced profound connections with people while learning to cherish personal freedom. Her long-term relationship with Kurt Russell would be defined by this change in viewpoint, which started in 1983 and continues to this day, decades after they first started dating. The pain of Goldie's previous relationships inspired her to forge a bond with her spouse based on mutual respect and autonomy, not compulsion. There were other high-profile relationships that Goldie Hawn had between her marriages and before she found true love with Kurt Russell. She was in a relationship with Franco Nero and had a brief romance with French actor Yves Renier, renowned for his contributions to Italian film. She then became acquainted with Swedish actor Bruno Wenzel, who had a passion for acting similar to her own. She dated stuntman Ted Grossman in the early 1980s, right before her relationship with Kurt Russell began. Her receptivity to love and her refusal to accept second best were both shown in each of these relationships. Her desire to experience life and love on her own terms was demonstrated by these relationships, even though they did not endure as long as her marriages. After that, how did you and Kurt Russell begin your unusual friendship? We will discover. Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell, and the rest of the original family band met in 1966 while filming the Disney musical The One and Only. While Kurt was still a teenager establishing himself as a child actor, Goldie was just starting out in her dancing career. There was no romantic relationship between them at the time, despite the fact that they were in scenes together. Goldie was a few years older than Kurt, and the two were heading on opposite life paths. Rather than marking the start of something more substantial, their initial encounter served more as a cordial professional introduction. But that first meeting was the sowing of the first seed of a bond. They each went their own ways, aiming for the spotlight with their own professions. While Kurt became famous as one of Disney's most beloved child actors and subsequently stepped into more serious parts, Goldie forged a path into film and television that would establish her as one of Hollywood's most endearing stars. They avoided one another in all seriousness for a long time. However, fate had other plans for them. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn didn't reunite in 1983, almost 20 years later, in a manner that would alter the course of their lives irrevocably. Swing Shift, set during World War II, featured both of them. Both had established acting careers by this point. Kurt had previously shown his versatility as an actor, while Goldie was a famous celebrity recognized for her energetic stage presence. Their friendship blossomed organically throughout filming. They were both prepared for a deeper connection than when they originally met, and the time was different. Goldie discovered a new thrill in Kurt's company, and he later confessed that he was captivated by her the moment they resumed working together. Their on-set connection blossomed into true love, and they became inseparable shortly after. While filming Swing Shift, their romance officially started. The account of one of their first dates went viral. After Kurt brought Goldie dancing, they checked out the house she had bought not long ago. It was too late to get inside, so the two spent the night chatting and developing a closer relationship. At that instant, something extraordinary began, and they never turned back. Theirs was an unusual love affair compared to Goldie's other relationships from the start. She had been married twice before, and Kurt had been through his fair share of trials and tribulations. They didn't force anything, instead letting their bond develop organically. They prioritized being in each other's company, lending each other support, and finding happiness in the little things. Goldie and Kurt started having children from both of their families as their romance developed. Before her marriage to Bill Hudson, a musician, Goldie had 2 children, Oliver and Kate Hudson, entered their lives with love and concern, becoming into a firm father figure for them both. Kate and Oliver have frequently discussed the profound impact Kurt had on their life and how he treated them like his own. Wyatt Russell, the 3rd member of Goldie and Kurt's blended family, was born to them in 1986. After forging his own way in acting, Wyatt became a professional ice hockey player. Goldie and Kurt provided their children with an equal mix of freedom, love, and guidance as they were growing up. The couple prioritized building stability in their personal life above making headlines in Hollywood. Kurt and Goldie's ability to maintain harmony in their blended family is what sets them apart. They fostered a community where every youngster felt valued and cared for. This equilibrium became a rock upon which their relationship could rest, and it has endured for decades. The public has come to see Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell as a perfect couple. Their fans adore them for their genuine personalities and the fact that their romance has lasted for so long. Together, they have graced the red carpet at many events, frequently mesmerizing crowds with their effortless synergy. Hollywood pressures were never able to break their bond, even though they were surrounded by fame. In private, their bond has always been based on mutual appreciation and comprehension. They have been together since 1983, but they have taken the rare decision not to get married. Love, for Goldie and Kurt, was always about being happy, committed, and trusted, not about official designations. Their choice is a product of Goldie's and Kurt's life lessons gained from their previous marriages. Their relationship was formed according to their own conditions because they opted for a partnership rather than marriage. Not only do they look strong together in public, but they have also been there for each other when times got tough. They were there for each other through thick and thin, weathering the storms of parenthood, workplace success and failure, and personal tragedy. One of the key reasons their love keeps inspiring people is this modest loyalty. How, therefore, did they manage to be together for 40 years without tying the knot? A long-term partnership that does not involve marriage. When Goldie and Kurt first started dating in 1983, they decided to do things their own way. Marriage was never a prerequisite for their level of commitment, in their view. They were able to shift their attention to what was really important, developing a caring and committed partnership. Because they focused on what was best for themselves and each other rather than what other people thought, their relationship has stood the test of time. Their steadiness for almost 40 years without getting married is something many people respect. Although many Hollywood couples have ended their relationships, Goldie and Kurt prove that love can last via the small, consistent actions of supporting, respecting, and cherishing one another. Their romance serves as a poignant reminder that the individuals involved, and not external factors like customs or regulations, determine the nature of genuine love. Their unwavering support for one another's professional and personal endeavors is a cornerstone of their lasting bond. Although they have never competed with one another, Goldie and Kurt have always been supportive of each other's acting careers. When one of them took on a challenging task, the other made room to offer support and stability. For example, Kurt was a rock for Goldie whenever she needed it, even as her acting career was booming with hits like Private Benjamin and The First Wives Club. Meanwhile, Goldie was there to support Kurt when he starred in hit films such as Tombstone, The Hateful Eight, Escape from New York, and others. While they valued each other's professional independence, they never lost sight of the importance of their domestic partnership. Even when they weren't working, they were just as committed. Whether it was overcoming obstacles or rejoicing in victories, Goldie and Kurt were there for each other. One of the keys to their enduring love has been their capacity to honor one another's autonomy while yet cultivating a sense of unity. Their shared principles are the foundation of their relationship and the reason they have remained together for decades. Love, independence, and respect are 3 things that Goldie and Kurt have stressed time and time again. Love, in their view, is not about exerting dominance over another person, but rather about making room for the development of both parties. Their happiness is centered around freedom. They decided against getting married because they valued their freedom of choice more than the security of a marriage vow. The foundation of their relationship has been mutual respect. They hold each other in high regard, both as partners and as people. Because of their mutual regard, they are able to deal with disagreements amicably. Their bond flourishes since they are both completely committed to the connection and yet have enough space for each other's individuality. Another interesting aspect of their story is that they managed to raise children together outside of the conventional marriage structure. They were married in 1983, but Goldie had two children, Oliver and Kate, from her prior marriage to Bill Hudson. Kurt lovingly embraced them into his life, making them his own and forging an unbreakable link with them. Both Oliver and Kate have spoken highly of Kurt, describing him as a real father figure who had a profound impact on their lives. Goldie and Kurt's blended family was completed in 1986 with the arrival of their son Wyatt Russell. They provided a stable, loving home for their three children as they were growing up. They were not married in the traditional sense, but they created a stable environment where their children flourished in all aspects of life. Oliver and Kate have both found success in the performing world, while Wyatt has been active in sports and the entertainment industry. Loving and committed people are more important than labels, as Goldie and Kurt proved by starting a family without a marriage license. When a result of witnessing a stable and supportive relationship when they were growing up, their children were well prepared for adulthood. Is there anything else fascinating about Goldie's life that we don't know, besides her relationship with Russell? Goldie Hawn counts her roles as a mother and grandmother among her most treasured accomplishments. She was a doting mother to Wyatt Russell, Oliver Hudson, and Kate Hudson, who have all achieved great success in the entertainment industry. She had two children, Oliver and Kate, from her marriage to musician Bill Hudson. Kurt Russell became like a father figure to them as they grew up in a blended family. The unconventional career path of Goldie and Kurt's son led him to stardom in both the hockey and film industries. Her children were profoundly affected by Goldie's love and wisdom. Honesty, and communication were some of her key points. The inspiration to pursue acting and live authentically came from her mother. Kate Hudson has said on multiple occasions, Oliver and Wyatt also give Goldie the benefit of the doubt for being there for them always and for the morals she taught them. Goldie values her duty as a grandmother even more than her parenting. Oliver and Kate have given her a plethora of grandkids, and she has jumped headfirst into this new phase of her life with the boundless energy that characterizes her. Involvement in her grandchildren's daily lives, celebrations of special occasions, and family vacations are just a few examples of how frequently Goldie spends time with them. She has expressed the profound happiness that comes from seeing children develop, and her closeness to them shines through in the way she joyfully recounts their life events. She brings joy, solace, and unwavering love to her family in addition to her fame as an actor. Goldie Hawn has spent much of her recent life working in fields unrelated to entertainment, but she will forever be known as a legend of Hollywood. She established the Hawn Foundation in 2003. It was the foundation that developed Mind Up. Enhancing children's mental health, emotional wellness, and resilience is the primary goal of this effort. Meditation, self-awareness, and emotional control are the cornerstones of Mind Up. It equips schools with resources to assist pupils in stress management, attention enhancement, and coping skill development. Classrooms all over the globe have embraced the program, which has received high marks for positively impacting both students and educators. A combination of Goldie's deep interest in psychology and her desire to make a positive impact on youth has driven her to choose this career path. As vital as it is to teach children intellectual subjects, she has often emphasized the importance of helping them build strong habits of mental health. Her work with Mind Up and the Hawn Foundation has made her an influential voice in the fight for mental health, proving that her impact extends well beyond the entertainment industry. Even at the age of 79, Goldie Hawn exudes an aura of youthful vigor. She has fully committed to a way of life that emphasizes health, tranquility, and mindfulness. Mindfulness and regular meditation are two of the tools she has used to keep stress at bay and her thoughts sharp over the years. Many of Goldie's daily practices stem from her firm conviction that mental health is equally, if not more, vital than physical health. She has a graceful and grounded approach to aging. Her priorities include maintaining an active lifestyle, eating healthily, and surrounding herself with positive people. Walking, riding, or just taking in nature is something she loves to do when she's outside. She finds that being in touch with nature keeps her centered and gives her energy. Goldie has always refused to conform to the sexist norms that prevail in the entertainment industry. However, one should instead relish in the splendor of aging gracefully and joyfully. Even at the age of 79, her way of life mirrors her ideology. Maintaining a healthy equilibrium is key to aging gracefully and welcoming each phase of life with enthusiasm. She keeps proving that you can be energetic as you get older. To thrive, one must discover new ways. A positive attitude has always been associated with Goldie Hawn. Her enthusiasm and positive outlook are still very much present in her life. The practice of thankfulness is one tool she uses to achieve this goal. The little things in life, like laughing, family gatherings, peaceful moments, and time spent with loved ones, are what bring her the most joy, in her opinion. Being naturally inquisitive and playful also contributes to her happiness. She has a lighthearted attitude and never takes herself too seriously. With this mindset, she has been able to weather life's storms with grace. Whether she's spending time with her family, working with her foundation, or making public appearances, Goldie always has a smile on her face. Mindfulness practices have also helped her maintain an optimistic outlook, she says. Her spirit remains balanced because she makes time to relax, think, and center herself. She embodies the essence of serenity in her public persona, serving as an inspiration for how to stay joyful throughout life. For a long time, Goldie Hawn was revered for more than simply her acting chops. Her infectious joy, genuine kindness, and endearing charisma have catapulted her to superstardom around the globe. She is universally admired by fans for exuding an air of carefree joy, which she maintains both in her professional and personal life. This admiration is further enhanced by her deep familial ties. The public notices how she and Kurt Russell have brought up their children, kept their marriage strong, and created a life for themselves. In addition, they observe a model of consistency in a sector that is notoriously volatile. Her legacy as a caring, purposeful person is reinforced by the fact that her children and grandchildren uphold her principles of honesty and kindness. Goldie's charitable work is highly regarded by the public as well. She has had an impact, particularly on children's lives, through Mind Up and the Hawn Foundation. Why, therefore, did she never tie the knot with Russell? That is the big question. For what reason she never tied the knot with Kurt Russell? The story of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, who have always been free spirits, is a shining example of a happy marriage that doesn't require a wedding band. She explains why she never got married again as she joyfully and peacefully reflects on her decisions at the age of 79. Tradition, paper, and ceremony can't compare to the strength of the bond she shares with Kurt. Goldie's views on marriage are an expression of her character and her life experiences. She has always prioritized her own happiness, freedom, and independence. Love, in her view, was always more about being connected than about entering into legally binding agreements. Devotion, according to her, was not defined by marriage. Every day, two individuals cared for each other, stood by each other through thick and thin, and treated each other with the utmost respect. This perspective was influenced by her previous marriages. In 1969, Goldie tied the knot with actor Gus Trichenes, but by 1976, they had already divorced. Oliver and Kate were born to her and musician Bill Hudson, whom she wed shortly thereafter in 1976. That union also disintegrated in 1982. The lessons Goldie gleaned from these events taught her that public vows and a wedding ceremony do not ensure a happy and long-lasting marriage. The actual experience of being in a relationship was what was important to her. When no one was looking, the two persons showed each other loyalty, respect, and kindness. Kurt Russell and her love deepened when they rejoined in 1983. A wedding was never a hasty decision in their relationship. They prioritized strengthening their family and lending each other professional support instead. Goldie has voiced her desire to avoid feeling shackled by tradition. In her view, a more meaningful demonstration of commitment would be to remain together out of love rather than compulsion. Her words and deeds conveyed a desire to wake up each day and make Kurt her first choice, rather than staying out of obligation. Kurt Russell agreed with this assessment. Just like Goldie, he knew the ins and outs of marriage from his own experience. He was in agreement that marriage was not necessary to demonstrate the strength of their relationship. They were happy to forge their own paths in life, and their connection was strong and unbridled by the constraints of marriage. Throughout their relationship, they demonstrated that genuine concern, trust, and respect were far more important than formal recognition. Love doesn't require approval, according to Goldie. Instead of viewing her partnership as a one-time contract, she views it as a series of deliberate decisions she makes every day. In her view, love should be a source of happiness, not stress. Their love has endured for decades, she says, because they never pushed it into anything that didn't seem right. Without expecting anything in return, they respected one another's uniqueness, allowed each other space, and rejoiced in living together. At 79 years old, Goldie is no longer shy about discussing her choice. She talks about how her life with Kurt has been full of joy, friendship, and constant encouragement. The last confession she makes is profoundly simple. More important to her than adhering to tradition was choosing love, freedom, and happiness. The foundation of genuine love, she demonstrated via her partnership, is not a marriage vow, but rather common ground and the pursuit of common goals. Goldie and Kurt supported each other through thick and thin as they brought up their blended family's children, enjoyed being grandparents, and did it all together. Despite exchanging wedding rings, their partnership has endured for nearly 40 years, surpassing the longevity of innumerable Hollywood romances. They show that love, when based on mutual regard and individual agency, can outlast the institution of marriage. Is Goldie Hawn's confession something you can get behind? If they had tied the knot, do you believe they would be together now? Leave a comment with your ideas. If you want to see more fascinating stories about your favorite celebrities, like, subscribe, and enable notifications, then you should.